Big mouth, steroid talk, no game, touch mouth.
Steroid kitty?
Yeah.
Take the screen switch.
Oh, shit. Oh.
And as you guys could see, Deontay Wilder and fam were happy because Jarrell Big Baby Miller was stopped by Daniel Dubois. And, you know, I find that kind of ironic. You know, for one, you know, you were talking about how Joshua was so happy that you got beat, or that's what you claimed, that him and Eddie were laughing and they were rejuvenated or whatever. But then yet you, your girl, the rest of your crew were clapping because Jarrell Miller got beat. Now, all through this buildup, all through this press conference and the promotions and all this of Day of Reckoning, you sit there and listen to Jarrell Miller blast Anthony Joshua, because it was Anthony Joshua though. But see, the elephant of the room was Jarrell Miller, maybe a month and a half ago, okay, let out a freestyle clearly talking about your significant other. And when you were around him, you never addressed anything of the sort. When, matter of fact, he didn't really say two words to Jarrell Miller of what we could see. You know, he stayed quiet, where Jarrell Miller said he didn't give a shit about Deontay Wilder nor Anthony Joshua. And now I guess you were gloating in the fact that he got beat by Daniel Dubois, and I guess that's his way of, you know, hey, well, you know, that's your way of, that's why you shouldn't talk shit. Well, that's true. That's why you shouldn't talk shit. But the ironic part of it is, you shouldn't talk shit about AJ because the same thing happened to you about an hour later. Because in between Jarrell Miller and Wilder and Parker was Bivol and Arthur, right? And that shit lasted 12 rounds. So about an hour later, you was getting your ass whooped too. You know, and the question is, you know, where was your rejuvenation at? You claim Anthony Joshua was so rejuvenated and pumped and all that stuff, you know, that you lost. Well, you clearly was happy and celebrating with your girl and this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, okay, I look at it like this. What goes around comes around. See, you can't praise somebody else's downfall without feeling a downfall of yourself, because that could come right back to you. And that's exactly what happened. See, all that American alliance and shit like that, it didn't mean anything. Deontay Wilder, I think, tolerated the whole idea of Jarrell Miller talking was because he was talking about Anthony Joshua. You know, that trying to be play nice guy shit. He didn't say or speak one word about Jarrell Miller, really. You know, which I think that should have been the pinnacle. Because AJ and Deontay really hadn't had beef because they really hadn't had nothing to say about each other. Whereas Jarrell Miller intentionally went on social media and blasted Deontay Wilder and his girl and really disrespecting his home. You know, his reputation. You know, you don't do that to anybody's woman like that. You don't do shit like that. But he did, you know, and that didn't come out. So that was this big elephant in the room. And you can tell it was real Because how Telly Swift, she was all clapping, all happy. She was happy as shit too. Everybody was happy. He was clapping. Everybody was applauding and thankful that he got beat. Called him a drug cheat. Bars. Right? But then you get beat an hour later. So you got to be careful on what you do and how you handle certain things. You know, don't be so quick to judge or to praise. You know, and then if you had a problem with Jarrell Miller, you should have just had it out with him then. You know what I mean? See, these things should have been ironed out, but everybody decided to jump on AJ because it's like, okay, the enemy of my enemy is my friend or my enemy. No, it's your enemy. You know, that doesn't make him your friend because he doesn't like the person that you also don't like. Okay? And Jarrell Miller learned that, you know. I do wonder why that's never addressed because, see, my thing is about that whole ordeal. You seen Telly clapping real like loud and stuff. She knew who they were talking about. And I'll say this. If she never done anything with Jarrell Miller, there would be no reason for her to say or not to say anything. You know what I mean? But then quietly clap and this, that, and the other. Jarrell Miller is a guy that should be blasted, put on blast, you know, brought out in the open and crucified for the lies. That should happen. Not any of that, hey, I'm glad he died. I'm glad he lost type shit. You know, so it just, that kind of gets me. I'm like, okay, well, you know, is it more to this? Yeah, it's definitely more than people are putting on if they're that happy that Jarrell Miller lost. I mean, but what do you get out of it? You didn't beat Jarrell Miller. You know what I'm saying? Like, so what would you gain for someone else's defeat? You know what I'm saying? So something else had to go down, you know, and I think they justified the clapping and all that stuff, but then we'll never know, and the masses will never know because he doesn't or she doesn't address that like they probably should. You know, if you have any respect for yourself, if there's any falseness to what Jarrell Miller's saying, that should come out because the truth should always come out. Not in little secret circles and little corners. No, out in the open for everybody to see. So then they can do what they want to, and then they have that access to the info because that info is supposed to be the truth. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Deontay Wilder happy that Jarrell Miller was defeated by Daniel Dubois. Of course, please subscribe, and you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!
Thank you.